Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to this section. The main topic is air pollution and health impact. We have 4 speakers in this afternoon discussion. The first speaker is Professor Chang-Chuan Chan. He is my classmate in National Taiwan University. Okay. I think everybody recognizes him very well, particularly in Taiwan researchers. I briefly have an introduction to Dr. Chan. He obtained his PhD degree from Harvard University. He is currently the Associate Dean of College of Public Health, National Taiwan University, and also Director of Global Health Center. He also serves as Counselor for International Society for Environmental Epidemiology, Chair for International Society for Environmental Epidemiology Asia Chapter since 2015, and the President of the Society for Risk Analysis in Taiwan. Today's topic is he is going to talk about the petrochemical industrial air pollution. Health effect for residents in the vicinity of a petrochemical complex. Professor Chan, please.
Thank you, Professor Yang. As he mentioned, we are classmates actually live in Santong, next to here. So it's been years, and I've been listening to this fascinating talks this morning, and it fits perfectly from my talk. We are talking about industries, industrial source, and this afternoon after me, we will talk about another PM 2.5 or air pollution, which I am heavily involved too. But I thought this would be a very interesting topic for our international guests to understand. There is an ongoing research that's of tremendous importance in our society. And so, first of all, I want to play a video, but it's in Chinese. But I will translate to you what it is, okay? And this is a big hypothesis. The gentleman see here is the richest man in Taiwan. And this is, that time, it's a very, it's now a well-respected politician in Taiwan, governor in a small county. And both of them, unfortunately, has passed away. And he died naturally in US at the age of 92, I guess. He died earlier from lung cancer at around 60 something. So people thought one would be the victim of air pollution, one would be the benefit. But they had the first debate on television about the petrochemical industry. It's back in the 1987. This is the first time we have this kind of talk show. A lot of our young students are accustomed to this kind of talk show now, but that was the first one. And in this debate, he showed this. Say, petrochemical industry is pollution-free. Anyone mention about pollution is kidding. So this is a big hypothesis I have. Is petrochemical industry pollution-free. And I was a graduate student at that time. Before that, it's already 2 or 3 years debate. But this debate decided that this big one will not be built in the governor's county. Instead, this project has been moved to another place. So this big chunk is the governor's county. And this is the place it finally settled down. Okay? But in Taiwan's modern history, in about 400 years, this is the biggest project we ever changed the landscape of Taiwan. So it's historical, it's biggest, about 3,000 acres. very big. And they built all this oil refinery, and you need a lot of power plant, coal power plant there. And this is what it looks like. Originally, all the land is ocean. So they create a man-made land and have an industry there. Okay, and that's how heated the debate was, that this should be pollution-free, so don't worry about that. But if you check it, there's so many different things there. You have all this oil refining, etc. So you have a lot of pollution. And I put sulfur dioxide in the first because it's the best indicator of this. So I will use sulfur dioxide as a leading indicator to tell you about the story. And before it was operated, we had some background evaluation together with Professor Yang. So we did some of the research there. That site was the background because in Kaohsiung, as Professor Wu had mentioned this morning, it's a heavily industrial city. They have a high sulfur dioxide at that time. So that's a story going on and on. And pollution is like this. In 2010, there's particle emissions, sulfur dioxide emissions, NOx emissions, volatile organic compounds, and so on. So these are reported by the company. Finally, there are some pollutions. But will the pollutions harm people? That's the question. If so, what kind of harms? Okay? So I was commissioned by a reluctant administration, a study sponsored by a reluctant administration. So I am very envious of Tony. You have a core exercise. The administration asked me to conduct this reluctantly. I don't know until now, 6 years. A tiny money for me only to touch upon air, because the money from air pollution control fee. So if you go to a place, you cannot collect waters, you cannot collect food, you can only use your money to study air. And the study going on, and I conduct several studies, like secondary data study, cohort study, and I also had a birth cohort there, and we did a lot of exposure there. So that's the story I'm going to tell you about. So this is the place. We did, the first thing is to ecological studies. That this is the yellow one. I told you it was ocean before, right? So these two counties, these two townships are close by. It's within 10 kilometers. So I kind of divided them into several zones. And we got data, mortality data, population data, cancer rates data, when I first conducted this back in 2008, 7 to 8. So I collect this data to do like standardized instance of mortality rate. This is the best way to do that. And the second one, because we do have some health insurance data, the claim data, we can get the daily mobility data at that time. So at that time, for air pollution, people are doing time series. So it's very easy to do time series. So what did I do for this SIM and SMN? I sort of, because the population is not so large, so I can only get the data for the township. So we group the township together and put one is exposures, closer by, and one is reference. So it's kind of distant to source. And the whole project was completed, the construction project completed the end of 1998. So starting 1999, in the middle part, there's already about 30 plants start operation. So the time cut off is very clear. Before 1999, there should be no emission from the industry. After that, there will be. So from the time series, we can cut it off before and after. And that's the way we group all the mortality or morbidity data after 1990. So through this, the secondary data analysis, we found if we compare the same township before and after, then you find out some total cancers, lung cancers, and original carcinoma, all these kind of stuff. After the operation, all these townships have seen significant increase, not the reference. Okay, so that's not right. That's too fast. Huh? And spatial comparisons. So up before and after, we compare these two places, like exposed and reference, and you saw liver cancers increase. So this invokes a lot of awareness in these countries, and this is a study has been published in the newspapers using our professional term, statistical associations, significant association of this kind of analysis. But people will criticize because there are so many personal risk factors you cannot get from this kind of data. So we have to do some kind of cohort study. Okay? For acute, because there's a monitoring staging in these two places, so you can get some kind of a particle, gases, pollutants, daily increase in mobility is related to high concentration of that. So I just want to use this one to show you what the changes there. And if you go to there to talk to the people, they always say, I can smell something that is acidic. They really say acidic. And it has not been experienced before. So I will show this using SO2 as an example. So this is a place, 1990, it's an ocean, right? This is a map, I guess. So 1993, half of them has been filled, but no plants yet. Okay? So we have a monitoring station here and SO2. We use pollution loads. That means every hourly data we plot by wind direction, wind speed. So you get very few SO2 concentration, and the highest is from these directions. So before the petrochemical industry, the air there is like this, and if there's any pollution, it's from northeast. But 2011, see, half of the place, the complex has been filled with the company and start operations. And the pollution grow. And high peak exposure are always from the north and some from west north. Right? So this is, and once 2005, all the plants around, now it's 67 plants are in full operations. And pollution load grew bigger. So that's, our instruments help us, air quality change. And the people know that I sometimes or always can smell it. Okay? If we look at this is the before construction, wind from the sea, wind from the land, and red one is wind from the petrochemical industry. So these two are together, but after operations, the downwind concentration of SO2 all day is significantly higher than like a land wind or sea wind. And in the third period, even bigger. So the kind of SMR I observe, is this correlated to this kind of change in air quality in that area? And SO2 could be only one indicator, as I show you. There are so many different pollutants there. Okay? And I also conduct another ecological study. This is a county that originally the plans intended for. And this is finally settled down. So I thought it's better to compare some of life expectancy of these two places. So again, the pollution laws tell you on the left-hand side is the industrialized county. This is non-industrial county. So up, this is before, right? And these two are after. So you can see the difference. So what? Well, the air quality are quite strikingly different, right? So I divide again pre-industrialization, short-term, intermediate, and long-term of industrialization, and these are some of the population characteristics you can have. And the most striking one is the number of plants, the manufacturing plants increase significantly on the left-hand side of this industrialized place. So one way to do this, when we submit the paper, they ask us to do this auto-relation using reference country as a way, and we can have a county and years interaction term to know. So basically, every year, the life expectancy increase, in the non-industrialized county increased by 0.08. So after 10 years, could be 0.8 difference in life expectancy. So was this can be attributable to that, to the air pollution or industrialization? So in the beginning, there's already around 0.8 difference in the whole population, but after industrialization, it increased to 1.5. So that's the slowing of life expectancy in industrialized county. That's my conclusion, and it affects more on male rather than female. That's if we divide it by gender. And will industrialization bring in better income, higher income? No. We compare these two places before and after. So that's why this kind of environmental justice issues always around us who are doing this, who benefit from this kind of pollutions. And so since 2009, we start a cohort and try to collect individualized data from questionnaire, from biospecimen, try to quantify exposures. That's what Tony has mentioned, that he has a big cohort in the decounted C8, but we have around 1/20 of your population size, because the counting is just not there enough. So I divided again to zone A, B, C, right? The A is most polluted, B is less, and C is even lesser polluted, based on the distance to the industrial complex. So this is a recruiting process. We have about 20 campaigns to go to these 10 places, and finally we got 3,230 who has been living in the home, the address for 5 years above. So it's a long-term residents in that area. So if you divide it to A, B, C, it's around 1,000 each. And the age group are quite compatible. And you can see that even though, but that zone A is still a little bit older, okay? And some of these betel nut doing these kind of things are a little bit different. They will affect our analysis when we are looking at cancers again. And we did some lung functions, and population-wise, C has better lung function than A. So it seems to me that lung function is a little bit worse for the people who live in close to that. This is correlational comparisons. And some of these, like GOT, GBD, they are different. Right? And the people who are living very close to there, their GOT, GBD are worse. So liver cancer and these kind of things probably have some connections. and some cholesterols are also different among them. Okay. So one thing we can do right now by using a little bit thick data approach is we have this cohort. Then we can use, we got a consent from them, so we can link all their health insurance claim data over the years. So right now in Taiwan, we have strict regulations that even you got a consent, but you have to go to a designated place to link your data, and they will scramble your ID and you can analyze it. Originally, I thought once I link the data, I can link all the data and come to my office and I can analyze. It's a cohort study, but we cannot. But we still can do this. So we connect this, and we want to retest our hypothesis. So 1999 to 2007 would be the kind of induction period, any influence of chemical exposure on cancers. We don't count it. So we only count it 2008, 2010. That's the last year we can link that time. So look at this. So zone A versus zone C. This is cohort woman age about 35. So this is the IRR, but the ratios. You can see that's significant difference between areas. Right? And if we exclude those have strong influence on cancers, like smoking, and hepatitis C, and still remain even higher for women. For age 60, we got the same. So after 5 years, I first used the secondary data in the beginning. Now we have small cohort. We try to verify whether we can use approach to see the difference in cancer rate, and it remains the same. So, and definitely you can use some Poisson regression, right, to detect and see that for women age above that, and all key important factors like age, hepatitis C, they actually play some roles in this cancer instance, but also the distance to source. So the nearby people has higher cancer rate, that especially for women, but right, for age about 60, you also see this zone effect, right? Hepatitis C effect. So that's the one story of this study. It's still going on. We always repeat it. But for our health risk model proposed by Ott, we like to have a source to health effects. And originally we are missing in the middle. We can have beginning and end, and there's a lot of things going on, right? So for the past 5 years, we're trying to do more on exposure and dose. So one way to do that is you look through all these kind of operations and what kind of information we can get, like all the stacks. They have about 400 stacks. So every day, the stack emission, and not to mention about the fugitive emission of VOC, etc. So we are looking at this, and a lot of metals and a lot of PAH. So we can say metals and pH are two targets that we can learn about this exposure. So we look at, and that we have papers to tell you about this distance to source trend in vanadium and arsenic, because they are very good indicators according to the literatures for refinery and for coal power plant. So we thought that would be good. So our study so, as I mentioned, we collect urine data from all the 3,230 subjects, and they are home addresses like this. So we can have a concentration of the individuals. Then we conduct a intensive air monitoring in 14 sites and over 1.5 years to collect air sampling and measure their concentration in the air. Okay? So we have urinary vanadium arsenic, and we have air vanadiums and concentrations, and we have a distance. So this paper is trying to establish the correlation. So look for vanadium and arsenic, zone A versus zone C. Okay, this is distance to this, and okay, let me see. Yeah. So what we did is to combine all the data together, and we find out that by increasing the distance, then by 1 kilometer, that our model says that urinary vanadiums decrease. So one is for air concentration, one is for the distance. And for vanadium, we can show this kind of correlations. And if we plot it in a concentration contour, you will like this. So I agree with this, Tony, that for a community-based study, nothing is clear. Sometimes a lot of uncertainty, and that's what we got for vanadium. For arsenic, we only can get distance, but not air concentration. So even though there's a distance to source correlation for arsenic, but not through the air alone. So arsenic, we know it's from a lot of different sources, so that's the one. Okay. Another one is to look at the PAH in PM 2.5, and we use urinary 1-OHP as indicators for our biodose. Again, this is the same, I won't repeat it. So this kind of all kinds of pH from 2 to 3 rings to 4, 5 rings, you know. So for related to industrial source, it's higher rings. For traffic, will be lower rings. So we look at more on the higher rings. Okay. So multiple regression shows this. Let's see, all these kinds of fight. So all this dot transformation PAH versus ours urinary, and you can see some of all of this higher rings are more related to that. So I'm trying to say we did some air monitoring and use some model and try to say air pollution, air concentration level in the home address. It's very close to the urinary 1-OHP concentration. Okay, so that's what I did, and I want to come back to the SO2 issue. So we for school children, and we try to see whether the allergic diseases there was also increased. And this is high exposure and low exposures. We divide it into two. 216 in high exposure, 371 in low exposure, and their relative distance to the plants is there. And we can use monitoring station in two sites to indicate SO2 concentration. So their age is 11 to 14 when we recruited. So if we go back about 10 years, it would be like from just born and etc. So we are following their diseases. So we can match the health claim data to get asthma, allergic rhinitis, and bronchitis. So I divided into just born to age 4, and just born to age 8, and just born to 9. So this long period prevalence that after the operation of complex. So this is SO2. Look at this. I use US EPA standards that 75 ppb hourly data. So before 99, in the high exposure area, non-single hours will be above 75. But after that, double digit, right? And the concentration before 99 is low. Highest, 3 years annual average of 99 percentile. But now it's 100. So, and for the low exposure area, it's quite opposite. Okay? So if you plot it, this is high exposure, this is low exposure, and this is the number of hours that exceeded 75. So that should be some effect if we look at this health effect. So for this around 600 children, then we collect a lot of confounders that we can control for. And these are the personal behavior and living environment they have. We try to exclude like secondhand smoking, incense smelling, and indoor temperatures, all these possible confounders. And we also see this big difference in current exposure to vanadium, as I mentioned before. So this is the prevalence rate. Apparently, the high is significantly higher than the low for like asthma, allergics, rhinitis, and bronchitis. And the other ratio we got. Asthma for the first 4 years, marginal significant, but allergic rhinitis persistent for 12 years. They're all significant. Bronchitis, the first 4 years. So that means age 0 to 4. That's the period. If you look at 0 to 8, then asthma and others will disappear. But allergic rhinitis persistent to age 12 and bronchitis to 8. And as I mentioned, this Lingyuan is southern part. It's in Kaohsiung City. When I and Professor Yang conduct study in mid-1990, and this is that time already industrialized city with the biggest petrochemical industries in Taiwan. The SO2 concentration versus now the high exposure area. You see a difference. And I go back to check our papers, and we find out the prevalence rate of the disease I mentioned this time is very similar to that time. So in one country, in 2 places, over the year of 20 years, right? Then we repeat some kind of natural experiment on the kids. It's a little bit sad. But that's, and for nitrogen oxide, that's the 2 places has no significant difference. So SO2 has something to play. Finally, because this morning people talk about exposomics, and we actually conduct a 3 years exposomics project in NTU, and we are trying to use some metabolites to see whether because I was asked repeatedly, can you give me a specific indicator of pollutants related to this petrochemical complex? Can you identify a biomarker for us that we can regulate or we can take actions? And I think this is almost impossible questions, but we try to use this omics approach. So as I mentioned that since vanadium and pH are such a huge difference, so we try to find some high exposure and low exposures group and try to use profiling and oxidative stress as our early effects models and metabolic profiling to in the serums try to see whether we can see something new. So look at this. So this morning we talk about this PFOS and that kind of exposures. And in this case, we also from high to low, 20 times difference. Okay, in PAH, and even greater for vanadium. But for the rest of them, they are also different. So we suspect with such a huge difference in exposure, we definitely can find something in the metabolic profile. So bear in mind, there's a big difference in exposures. Okay. So we try to use this urine-based biomarkers to do physical components and try to say, oh, factor 1 and 2 are more related to oil refinery, and 3 and 4 are more related to coal fire or tank. Always try to link to the source. And the oxidative stress, we use 4 kinds of oxidative stress. The black one is high exposure and low exposure, and technically you see some oxidative stress difference between high and low, right? Then the omics. So we can see the difference in omics. We can divide it into 2 groups. Yeah? So that's something going on there. So we go back and try to identify all those peaks painfully for almost 1 year to figure out what it is and come out from the lipoprotein. Very common, lipid, amino acids, carbohydrates, all these kind of things. And you can see the difference between this. And we also look at subject with and without hepatitis B and C because they are prevalent in our country. And we thought virus will have some role in chemical exposure. So this is so far we can get for omics and always try to build this kind of model, right? From source to concentrations and to into the dose and look at some of the signaling pathways. And one is PDAR, one is insulin. We thought that this kind of exposure will cause cancers and chronic diseases. That's so far we got for this. And currently we also have urine-based omics and use LC mass. That's giving us more picks to analyze. Okay. So in summary, that's after the petrochemical industry has been operated by using that big data or big data approach, by dividing this operation in time as a cut-off operation. Actually, we can see some increase in exposures and some increase in cancers and allergic diseases. And one reason this place is, we can find this, is very unique. Before that, it's a rural area. So only past 15 years, you have experienced this kind of thing. It's very rare. You cannot repeat in any part of Taiwan. The Kaohsiung area already has a lot of traffic exposures, and that area is only industrial exposure. So that's probably one of the reasons we can detect some health effects. Okay. So, what we are doing? Are we doing more to collect more scientific proof? And I remember one wise man, Einstein, said, not everything that can be counted counts. Not everything that counts can be counted. We're using more and more sophisticated tools and increasing more and more sample size. And we are trying to go from correlations to causal, and sometimes we need that in court. And sometimes politicians will ask you to do more and to debate their actions. Or sometimes we have to advocate that correlation itself will be enough to do something. And that we are facing now in these areas. About 200, 100, 200 races there now fire the classroom company now. And the local government, I don't know what's their position. There's for industry or for the residents, and do we collect all the data for about 700,000 residents in that area, or the study I have 3,000 will be enough to prove or disprove. And this is still going on, and so far we haven't seen the will of our government that they will deal with. So the kind of story you heard this morning from arsenic to RCA. So we are repeating a big one, probably the biggest one. Okay. So this, and I hope. Thank you for your attention.
Some more gift for the speaker. Thank you for Dr. Zhang's excellent presentation. He gave us a very comprehensive study for the past 10 years. Have a comprehensive monitoring data and using different kinds of methodology to investigate the association between the petrochemical complex and the residents' health. Okay. So now we have some time to, okay.
Wonderful talk, yeah, and a lot of work. And my question is, I'm very interested in the liver cancer that you have mentioned related to this industry. And I find out that hepatitis C is a very important risk factor. And that's very good because as we know that hepatitis C related with liver cancer. So I'm wondering, when you look at the interaction between hepatitis C and also this company, you see the risk is even higher.
So we know now we only use stratified analysis, try to confine our studies with B and C in our cohort and without B and C. So this is the only way. But the sample size is really not big enough to standardize the interaction test. That's the way.
How about the people without the?
Yeah, even higher. Even this, because it's small size, so I show you that women that without B and C, and you look at their cancers related to their exposures on high exposure versus older, it's higher than combined together. But yeah, so it gives us confidence that should be something going on for chemical exposure, not just B and C. Okay.
Thank you very much. Fascinating results and very nice talk. My question is related to one methodological point, and this is while the industrialization were going on very strongly, the population in that area is probably not the same. Who likes to live very close to petrochemical enterprise? Those who are rich or better well off move out, and those who are poor stay in that area. And even the plants need some workers, different kind of workers. So there's a lot of migration and immigration process. Could you comment on that, please?
Yes. So the first study I did was SMR. We use Taiwanese government provide some of socioeconomic indicators that we can match township. So that one has been matched in that secondary analysis. In our analysis, individualized data, we do have some income data there. As I mentioned, we only look at that people who live long enough. So the recent migrations will not be counted. But the whole county, the population is a little bit shrinking. But in the neighboring township, the two high exposure townships, the population is a little bit growing because the company get out every year about 250 US dollars for a little bit as bonus. So everybody want to move it. So we know that. So we only kind of in all our analysis only count for long term research. But social economic is one thing that can be studied further.
Okay.
I was wondering about in the I think it was the cancer when you were dividing the time periods, and I think one was 99 to 2007.
Yeah.
Then there was a 3-year period, and I thought, and there was a big difference between them. I was wondering how you chose those time intervals.
Oh,
Was it because that was reflecting the incidence rates, or
because it's got enough number in your denominator and to get it stable. That's it.
so it's about half and half of
Yeah.
the numbers?
Yeah, otherwise it's, if you do it year by year, it's very frustrating. So we try 3, 4, 5, and 3 would be good enough for us to aggregate. That's, as I told you, for each township, the population is not big, and the expected number of cancers in 1 year could be a little bit fluctuating.
So that difference makes sense because of a latency effect.
Yeah.
But in the other direction, the risks seem to be going down for asthma. And does that make sense? Was the pollution improving already? Because when you aggregated it, you didn't specify. You included more years.
Yeah.
So the right-hand side had all the way up to 2010, but the risk was going down,
Yeah.
suggesting that if you looked at just 2008 to 2010 for asthma, it would be very low,
Yeah.
as if it was getting better.
Yeah. And we know that's two questions. One is pollution improved, right? The other thing is asthma is strongly age dependent. So that's to some extent there's the outbreak, the attack decrease. So my observation from just born to 4 years old would be the high prevalence rate, and probably until preschool or 8 years old. But after 8 years old, once it happened, it happened. That's what I thought. And so that's one. The other thing is, yeah, it's true. When I started, so in the middle of my study, the pollution actually started going down a little. So that's possible. I don't know. Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay.